Hey everybody, I'm going to be putting out some videos on Honkai Star Rail. There's a lot of garbage information out there, so I think I've sorted through most of the garbage crap, and I just want to kind of share some stuff internally in our little community, so people don't follow dumb YouTubers and put up a bunch of stuff that they kind of just had to rush to the press because they're competing with other people with clickbait and so on like that. So um, the thing I want to get, I'll do a bunch of in-depth things on different characters, the ones that are available in the game. There's not that many. It shouldn't be that long. Maybe I'll do like, a 5 to 10 minute video for each of the notable ones, and maybe a tier list at some point in time if I feel like doing it. But what I want to do for this video is just kind of explain how important certain modifiers are, because the entire formula in this game is multiplicative. Because everything that you do is some type of percent based value in terms of what you're building. When you have your skill multiplier, your attack percent mods, your defense percent mods, and so on, everything is percent based in a singular multiplicative formula. The enemy's defense goes into a damage reduction calculation to calculate the amount of damage mitigation they're going to get. Everything. There's no addition or subtraction, basically. The times where there is addition and subtraction, it doesn't change the underlying idea of what you should be doing in terms of how to build your modifiers in an optimal way to do the most amount of damage possible. So, that being said, I'm just going to tab over real quick to this page. I will go slow for a little bit. This is the best description that I've seen on a website of how the formula works and what these stats do. There's some other information on this site. I will share the link. This is the best resource that I've been able to find, and it really kind of explains things in a very good, quick, and easy to understand way. I'll just kind of be a little bit slow here, so if you don't want to bother going to the site or anything like that, I will share the link in the description. If you just want to kind of read it as is and press pause and never open it again, that's fine. And these are just some examples. They're not that important. But this is important, and the damage formula is important. Okay? So, because everything is multiplicative, a lot of people have this understanding that certain percent modifiers are better than other modifiers. For example, damage percent is weaker than crit damage, or attack percent is weaker than damage percent, for example. This is not true. Every character is going to have certain things about them, especially in this small pool that we have right now. And the examples that I'm going to use today are Seal and Yangshing. Yangshing has, his kit naturally has a buttload of free crit rate. When he has his Soul Steel Stink active, he gets 17.5% crit rate. When he casts his ultimate, he gets another fixed 60% crit rate and 40% crit damage. What he's missing is a lot of just normal damage percent and normal attack percent. Okay, he does have like extra. Now, additional damage is very, like, this is very specific wording. Additional is kind of separate. It's not part of the attack. It's an additional hit. Okay, so that's a little bit different, but he doesn't really have damage percent increases. Okay, he has a follow-up attack, which basically is the same. It's almost the same as an additional attack. It's like kind of a separate action that has a separate chance to proc. In his case, it's 55% chance for it to proc, dealing ice damage equal to this amount of percent of his attack. So it's a damage that's based off the attack formula. Yeah. Like any other skill, it's just a small number compared to like the big ones, obviously, that you would see on like the ultimate attack, for example. However, in his kit, and especially with this light cone, I think this is the best light cone for him, like not even close. Unless you have Seely's light cone, I guess, but he has really bad returns from Seely's light cone because it gives a lot of crit rate. So I really think that this is probably the best light cone to put on him. This is the one that I'm running, and it's my favorite light cone just in general. He gets all 5 stacks if he gets a follow-up attack and casts his skill. If the follow-up attack procs, so if he already has Soul Steel Sync active and he uses his skill, and then if it procs, he can get all 5 stacks from one hit. His basic attack gives him 3 stacks. His skill gives him 4 stacks naturally. So this isn't like something that takes 5 turns to charge. It's like instantly charged. This is a very powerful light cone. And it can give up to 80% damage percent at superimposition 5. And I'm going to use the 80% as the baseline for the explanation in this, because that's kind of where it's going to... It's a 4-star. It's like the game's only a little... It's basically brand new. This is going to be, as a 4-star, something that's very attainable, very easy to get over the long term. And very good. Hopefully if this comes up on a weapon banner, I would actually pull on that weapon banner, even though I'm kind of against pulling on weapon banners in Miho games. But I'm going to be treating it as 80%, which is the superimposition 5 stat, for the purpose of optimizing my character build. Okay, so because I have so much damage percent already just from this light cone, and I have tremendous amounts of crit rate and crit damage available to him with just his talent and his ultimate skill, giving him these guaranteed buffs. To me, attack percent is going to be one of the things that is more lacking on him, because like I'm getting diminished returns. Like the crit damage percent mod is baseline 50%. Baseline is 50%. So it's actually the most generally it's the most available crit modifier in for example, Genshin Impact. It's a very high available modifier. It's almost as high as skills, or even higher in some cases, really extreme cases. It's not uncommon for Genshin characters with maxed out stuff to have a couple hundred, like 220, 250% crit damage. It's not uncommon. My Yoimiya actually has around 250% crit damage on her. It's not difficult to attain. It's a very high modifier, and he's buffing it. Now, in my build as is, as I'll go into it, especially counting this as an 80% damage mod, he is actually lacking most in crit damage right now, which is a little bit sad. But I'm sure once all my stuff is optimized, he'll be better off. So currently I'm doing this a 4-piece set. He's getting 12% attack from this set, and the speed. The basic attack damage increase, this is kind of garbage. I will be replacing 2 of these pieces with the ice damage set in the short term. I just finished getting Seele and Serval done today. I was doing Serval because her relic place kind of is also where you get like this defense set, and I am really hurting for those pieces because they're shared between 3 great characters. So I decided to do that and farm up my Serval's gear before I did my Yangqing's gear. He's already hitting like a truck as is, and ice has tremendous perks compared to other elements in the current iteration of Simulated Universe. So I think that he's perfectly fine as is. But I have 12% attack here. I'm using speed boots. This is attack percent here. I decided that I don't need the crit rate because I have so much crit rate coming from my skills. I don't want to overflow in crit rate because 100%, unlike the other modifiers, crit rate is an activator and it does have a cap of 100%. I don't want to go above the 100%, so I decided to put a massive attack percent piece on him instead because he needs the attack percent. If he was faster for one reason or another, then I could take it off the boots, but he does need the speed as well. So I decided to go attack percent instead of crit damage percent. Also, I never found a crit damage percent piece in the first place. So I still have yet to see a crit damage percent chest piece, sadly. I've gotten lots of crit rate pieces, but he just does not need the crit rate. So attack percent is what I went with. I have ice damage boost on this. It's the only 5-star ice damage that I was able to get so far. Now, it's important to note that damage percent is like a slush fund. This is not a separate multiplier. This ice damage boost gets added to the 80% that I'll have from my light cone. So my damage percent is going to be 112% if I add them together and get my light cone to superimposition 5. Okay, and then I have another 28% attack from this. All right, and perhaps if this I got the damage one, then I can get another 24% attack. That would actually be kind of nice. I was kind of hoping to go with the crit rate one to get more damage percent, but my damage percent is going to be quite high with that light cone, so I'm leaning against this at the moment, even though initially my gut reaction was this was going to be the better effect, because this is just a great and easy to reach effect. but I feel like the crit is going to be somewhat wasted. And then really it's just a 15% damage increase. And then my damage is going to be very high with my particular light cone of choice. And then I'm obviously going to have more damage from here. Like just with these two pieces alone, this is only level 12. Once it gets to level 15, you know, we're talking like 120, 125% damage percent with just those two pieces. And that's not counting if, like, you know, buffers like Bronya, who are going to be increasing my damage percent as well. So he's actually kind of overloaded in damage percent. And he kind of is hurting for attack percent right now. So I have attack percent here. Nice if I can get the second effect. If I can get the two-piece effect here, and if I get a nice damage piece in this effect, then I can get another 24%. So let's just say in a perfect world I do get that. So that'd be 28, and then another 24 is 52%. And then I have my my piece here, which would be 95%, which is a respectable amount. And now, obviously, it's going to be less than my damage percent on him, which is fine. Like I mentioned, Bronya's ultimate also increases attack percent. So her skill is going to be actually a stronger buff than her ultimate in a lot of cases, depending on the character's build. This gives a damage percent increase, and this gives an attack percent increase, and a kind of a minor crit damage buff. Like the crit damage is actually going to be nice for Yang Xing. But it's kind of this weird thing where if I'm using Bronya, obviously her skill is always welcome, but her ultimate gives very good benefits for my Yang Xing based off of his kit, the available multipliers he has, and my light cone of choice for him. Now, moving over to Seelie. Seelie has a lot of damage percent as well. Like too much. So she actually benefits a little bit more from attack than damage percent. Her talent, like I've got at level 5 right now, it's giving me 56% damage percent as is. And what's nice about Seelie is when she casts her ultimate, she automatically enters her buff state. So this is a massive multiplier for being able to guarantee the talent to trigger as well. In my opinion, this is a kind of a silly high. This is a little bit overtuned in my opinion. Especially because the ultimate cost is only 120. I think Yang Xing's is 140. So this is actually weaker. Now, arguably it's stronger because this is 160% crit value. But I'll let you guys kind of fight over which one you think is would give the most amp overall. I think that it's pretty close because her numbers are just much higher. Also, we'll talk about the res pen perhaps in a different video, but that's also extraordinarily powerful. But she has a 56% damage modifier here. I haven't been lucky enough to get a 5-star or even a 4-star quantum damage piece, which blows my mind because I've got like fire pieces coming out of my ass and defense coming out of my ass. Not for any of the right sets, all of them on the wrong sets, but I got them. I've been finding them like crazy, but I cannot get a quantum damage piece. But what's nice is I've got the 2-piece for the attack percent set, and obviously her speed is always popped off after she does her very first action because her skill gives her the 25% speed boost. So if I look over at my my stats over here, she has 12% attack, 24% attack, 36% attack. Her boots are attack, not speed. And this is another 28%, so that's 64, almost 65% attack. The chest piece is crit rate because she is crit hungry. I don't think she could avoid running a crit rate piece for. She could run crit damage if you have her light cone, but and it's like super in position 5. But I would still think that if it was just super position 1, you would want to run crit rate on her anyway. Also, I think that instead of this attack percent, the attack percent is going to be on par, in my opinion, with this crit rate increasing set. The thing is, she might be crit hungry, but she doesn't need the ultimate damage, and she doesn't have a follow-up attack. So her damage percent is already going to be very high, especially paired with a unit like Bronya, who, like I said, does increase both attack and damage percent, but her skill increases damage percent. That's going to be the more common buff that you're applying to your Seelie. So where was I? So she's got 28% here. She's got 28% there. That's 56, 57% really because it's 0.7s. And then she's got the set effects as another 36%. Okay, so that's a fairly good amount. But as you'll notice, the quantum damage here is 10, another 15 here, then and damage percent, like I said before, is additive. And then she gets, also I get 20% attack from this. So she has around 120% attack. That's important. My Sealy, I think, is very well built right now. This is a good cone for her. Not nearly as good as her. Obviously, the one that she has on the banner is insane. It is so finely tuned for her. It is perfect. But this is a close second as far as I'm concerned. Also, if you're wondering about if you, for whatever reason, want to just disregard and only build damage percent and not build attack percent, her skill, like Yang Xing's, also triggers 4 procs with just the skill cast itself. So if you're fighting a boss with her, for example, and you hit the boss with 1 skill, you'll have 4 stacks. If you're not changing targets, it's going to be very strong. Obviously, that is a very large amount of the damage percent. But I think she's more crit hungry, and she's got lots of damage percent, so she needs more attack percent to balance out the modifiers. And the crit rate, this is a very easy condition to meet. So she's got that, 120% attack. And then 56% damage. Obviously, she'll have a much stronger relic here. But with the quantum set, there's 10. I'll probably be getting some of this attack percent for the 4-piece set. I'm not sure if I want to do that yet. Because I don't know how the defense ignore works. I don't know if it's going to be 10% of the defense or 10% of the flat number that will go into the defense calculation formula. Because like 1 is like 10 or 20% defense ignore if it's like taking it straight off. Is huge, because like at an even level, the enemies are usually going to have a 50% reduction baseline, somewhere around there. So if you take that down to 30, that's huge. But if it's just mitigating the flat number that goes into the damage formula, instead of being like 20%, it's going to be like 5. So I don't know how overpowered this is going to be yet. It might be great. It might just be exaggerated. Right now, I actually do need the attack percent. And it's mid game, so I don't really have the resin or the stamina to get all that. So right now it's good. Also, my damage percent modifiers are through the roof with Bronya, and I need attack percent. So that's the 12, 24, 36, 20 from the light cone is 56, and then with the boots and the what's the snake thing called, the link rope, that's another 57%. So it is pretty up there. It's close to 120% attack. And her damage percent is like 25 from the gear, if I count this piece and add them together. And then her passive is 56. So that's 81%. Now, obviously, I'm going to be running her with like Bronya. Bronya's going to add another 39%. So it's going to be up like 120 as well. Okay. She also has her traces. Her traces give a good amount of attack as well. So it's like I got like another 10 or let's see, 14% attack here. But I'm pretty close in battle. I will kind of, I'll just go start a battle real quick. Let's just kind of show. I might need 2 battles to do it because I don't have any energy right now. But I'm just going to charge up her energy to max so she could be in the buff state when I cast the ultimate. And now I'll just get in another battle, and I will open the buff screen after I cast the buff with Bronya, so you can see that the damage percent is roughly 120 as well. Okay, alright, so we support, and then we enter the buff state, and let's see. So 16% damage boost, 39% damage boost. Why do I not have my buffed state effect shown here? My buff state effect is not shown here, but the ultimate makes you enter the buff state. So it's not written here, but there's going to be the 56% as well on top of that. So this is a 55%, another 56. It's 111% damage increase. Plus my set effect for my relic is 10. and then another 15 from my little planet orb thing, the 2-piece relic. So it's gonna be like 125% damage, and then I'll just hit this guy and hope I get a crit. Maybe I can do like 20k damage or something. 20,400 damage, and that's basically how it is. Okay, so weaker enemies, so the numbers are going to be a little bit higher. Obviously, if I'm attacking, I'm not going to do 20,000 damage against a level 75 or 80 unit in like the memory hall or whatever it's called, content, but whatever the Spiral Abyss version of this game is. But what I really just want people to understand when they're building their characters is there are no real bad characters in Hoyo games. All the characters are very good, and like part of the fun and how to build your characters is figuring out, well, what teams does this character fit in? For example, like Bronya is great with Seelie. She is going to be giving her disproportionate damage percent buffs compared to attack percent buffs. She has a ton of speed, so she doesn't really need speed because she gets a 25% increase from her skill cast. So you know, stuff like this, and then trying to find the optimal way to kind of maximize the modifiers that you're getting. So I just want to say attack percent isn't always going to be worse than damage percent. Damage percent isn't always going to be worse than attack percent. Crit damage percent might be something that you really want to have. As you can see here, my crit damage on her is 102%. Actually, I don't know why, because I don't have any crit damage piece. I don't really care. Anyway, her crit damage is very high for reasons that I am somewhat baffled by. You know what? You don't question a good thing. So she's got her crit rate is high, like with the two enemies on the field. She's got 57.5% crit rate. She's got 100% crit mod. Her attack percent mods, when you add them all together, is around 120%. And then her damage percent when she gets buffed by Bronya's skill is around 125% as well. So I've got very balanced mods, and it allows me to do the most damage possible because the spread is good. And that's kind of really what I want to show from this. And the reason I wanted to do the comparison between Yangsheng and Seelie is because a lot of people might do comparison videos on YouTube, for example, where they put on the same gear and say, oh, look, Yangsheng is bad, or oh, look, Seelie is good. And while Yangsheng is definitely not going to be as good as Seelie, because Seelie's speed is just unreal. The amount of extra action she gets to take is unreal, and her modifiers are overtuned, and her energy cost for her ultimate is only 120. Like, there's lots of broken things about this character. Her base speed is even 115. As the first banner unit, like Genshin players will remember that this was the case for Venti as well. He was the most overtuned unit in the game, and I don't think they ever made a unit with the same kind of modifier spread as him. They made characters that were more fundamentally broken, but his modifiers were definitely overtuned compared to the other characters in the game. And I think Seelie is kind of the same thing. She's a great pickup, even at Constellation or Eidolon Zero. But you would build her completely different than Yangsheng. So if somebody's doing like a video where they're wearing the same gear, look, this person's better than this person, what he's good at, and what she's good at, she's good at it. They have different ways to build the characters entirely. And the main thing that you need to know is what the proper way to build your character is, based off of what the modifiers are going to be that are available to them. It's not, oh, this is the best stat, and this is the best stat, and this is the best stat for all characters forever. They all have innate strengths, and the thing is, the percent modifiers in this game compared to Genshin, especially with the absurd levels that you can get with the buffs, they're not comparable. They're just not comparable. In Genshin, attack percent was just way too available, especially with characters like Bennett giving huge attack buffs and things like that. Like, attack was just much more available than damage percent. Damage percent was very scarce, so damage was very strong. In this game, damage is not scarce at all. Like I said, I'm going to be getting 80% from this, and it's only going to take me one attack to trigger it, and then it's going to be on for the entire boss fight. It is not a scarce modifier in this game. Anyway, that's it for the first one. I will do some character guides and maybe some team building guides. One other thing, there's a guy named Gooba on YouTube. He's actually, I mean, if you don't mind listening to his voice, Like, he's not a charismatic guy, but his information is very reliable. He's the only person that I would say has basically irrefutable content in terms of how good it is. He's only got a few hundred subscribers or something, but like, if you find him, his videos are the best sources of information if you want to see like a YouTuber that's going to be making regular content and whatever. He's a smaller guy, but his information is great. He had a great video that he posted not long ago about break effects, so I suggest you check that guy out. But that's going to be it for this video. I'll talk to you guys later.